Hi everyone, Dr. Sarah Rose here, and today for this video I'm going to be talking about self-monitoring or tracking, which can be a really effective way of reaching your goals. I'm going to talk about what makes it work and what makes it not work. So self-monitoring or tracking is basically picking a behavior, observing it, and recording it. This can be a healthy behavior that you want to increase or an unhealthy behavior that you would like to decrease. Whatever it is that you're observing, that becomes the target behavior. Pretty much anything can be a target behavior, from the food you're eating, your calorie intake, exercise, nail biting, smoking, internet use, your thoughts. Just about anything can be a target behavior. Now, what makes self-monitoring or tracking work is that you are getting feedback on the behavior. So instead of just going on autopilot all day, you are increasing your awareness of what you're doing. And when you increase your awareness, this gives you the opportunity to make choice about your behavior and make it more consistent with what you would like to actually achieve. Another reason self-monitoring can be very effective is that it increases the self-observer effect. Many of us have experienced the observer effect, which is when somebody is watching you, your performance tends to improve. So let's say you're out for an afternoon run and you cross paths with another runner, your pace might pick up a little bit. And so the same thing can actually happen for yourself. Whenever you're observing your behavior and you start to do that, you will actually start to make some changes and some shift in that behavior. And with self-monitoring, this has been going on for quite a while. An early example would be food journals, where you're just keeping a record of what you're eating. And another form of tracking would be using a pedometer. In fact, many of you have probably already experienced some form of tracking just with the explosion of apps and metabolic monitoring devices. So that would be something like the Nike Fuel Band, the Fitbit, the Bodybug, or even an app such as Runkeeper, Endomondo, MyFitnessPal. And in fact, I think probably, using these devices and tracking our behavior is probably going to become more commonplace as these things become more accessible, easier to use, and the data is automatically gathered. One piece of evidence for this would be the Quantum Self, which is a website or a community of people who are dedicated to creating new tracking tools and just finding different ways of tracking behavior and using this to get even better health benefits. And so with all of this information coming in, all of these apps, all of these devices, it may seem that we're going to be just superhumans before much longer with all of this feedback. However, there is a major drawback and a major error when it comes to monitoring and self-tracking. That is human error. We are really failing to use these devices. There was a survey conducted by, I have to consult my notes, the Consumer Health Information Corporation in 2011. And what they found was, of apps that were downloaded, 26% of them were used only once, and then moving forward, it was 74% of them after 10 uses just dropped off and stopped using them. And this would include the health tracking devices. And so what we're seeing is people are just not using it. And if you're not using it, then it's not going to work. And that really is the key point, and the most important part of this video is finding some sort of tracking that really works for you. And that is going to be something that's simple to use and straightforward. So you don't necessarily need to monitor your vitals and your exercise and your diet and your teeth brushing and then plot it on a chart and see how that interacts with the number of dates that you're getting that weekend. It can be very straightforward, just some simple information, keeping it down to one, possibly two things. That way you're more likely to actually follow through. And of course, with all things in life, it's rarely straightforward as it works or it doesn't. We have a lot of other variables that can go into if self-monitoring is effective or not. And one of those major variables studies have found is social support. So throwing in friends, family, coaches, whatever, who know what your behavior, your target behavior is, and then can lend some support to you. There are some social websites that have actually already taken this into account. So things like Fitocracy, AMRAP for Life, even MyFitnessPal. What these have are the tracking component, so your goal, your exercise, but it's also like a social network. And so people can comment on what you're doing, encourage you, support you, and even sometimes this can create a little bit of competition, and so that might also increase your drive to reach that goal. And also don't forget the observer effect. So being on these websites sometimes can make you feel like people are watching you, and this can also, again, increase your performance. So in summary, self-monitoring can be a really great way of helping you reach a goal, but only if you're doing it. So find something that's simple. The same thing isn't going to work for everyone, and if it's just carrying around a journal and a pencil and logging it that way, if that works for you, wonderful. Find what it is that works, commit to it, and get going. So that's all I have for right now. I hope this was helpful and informative, and I will see you next time.